Hey guys, I'm back with another video, or we're back with another video. A friend of mine was asking what process I use to keep my Jeep clean, and so today I'm going to be walking you through all the different pieces and tools and solutions that I use to just take a dirty vehicle and make it clean. There won't be any paint correction or any type of clay barring, that kind of stuff. It's literally just my car is dirty, I want it to be clean, and I don't want to scratch the paint in doing it. More important parts of the cleaning process. It's an electric pressure washer. I've used this one for probably 4 or 5 years. It's 2,000 psi, which is a nice happy medium because it's powerful enough to bring the dirt and grime off your vehicle, but not so powerful that you have to worry about it marring the paint. Step number 1, fire up the pressure washer, work your way from top to bottom, get all the big chunks off. Now, if you've done a good job of maintaining your paint with protective agents, this should have taken the majority of the dirt off. Now, if you haven't, the next couple steps will take care of that. One thing I meant to address is always try to wash your vehicle early in the morning or in the evening or on a cloudy day, because you're not fighting the sun. If this was sunny, you'd be getting water droplets and everything. Another thing, wait for this car to go by. Another thing to check when you're messing with the pressure washer and you're changing out your tips, always point it in a safe direction and then test it, because if you don't have this tip clicked in and you go to spray your car, you'll be shooting a projectile into the side of your car, and so your washing will start out on a bad note. So next, we're done washing all the major bug guts and dirt and grime off of the vehicle. We're going to use a foam cannon, and what I've done is I really like Meguiar's Gold. And all the products that I'm suggesting here are ones that I've tested, and if you're new to washing your car, these products will work excellent. There's nothing that I'm going to suggest to you guys that will damage your car. You can get stronger stuff, but you have to be a lot more careful. Meguiar's Gold Class Car Wash foams up really, really well, gives a good protective barrier around all the dust particles and stuff like that. So I've got it mixed 5 to 1 in my foam cannon. You can pick these up for like less than $20, and they attach directly to your pressure washer, and lays down a incredible bed of foam. And what we're going to do is we're going to let that foam set, and while it's setting, I'm going to start working on the wheel wells and the tires. So we'll be back and I'll show you what I use for that. But first, let's foam this puppy down. Alright, now, what that's going to do is that foam, you can see, is slowly coming down, and it's pulling off anything that the initial washing didn't get, and it's also soaking the bug guts and the stuck dirt. So when we get ready to wash it, it'll come off even easier, so we won't have to scrub. Because the less contact we have to have with the paint, the less chance that we mess it up. The next thing I'm going to do is I have P&S Brake Buster Total Wheel Cleaner, and I diluted it 5 to 1, and which these bottles, you can buy these at Walmart, and they're pretty awesome because they actually have your dilution ratios in there. So if you don't feel like calculating it, you literally would fill your 100% solution, dump it in there up to the line 5 to 1, fill the rest full of water. And I like to use this. This is for wheel wells. So you give it a good squirt with all this, and then I hit my tires with it also. And then I have a Mother's long-handled brush, which I'll put a link to it. It's nice and soft, but then it lets you get back in there and get your wheel wells clean. So we're going to lightly spray down the tires and the wheel wells and let them set. And then we're also going to take our scrub brush for the wheels, wheel well brush for the wheel wells, and we'll get the wheel wells cleaned out while our solution is soaking, and then we're going to come back for the next step. Now, one thing you want to be careful with your brush is you do not contact your rims. It's nice and aggressive for the tire, but entirely too aggressive for your rims. So we stay away from our rims. Just carefully agitate the tire, and you'll notice that our nice white solution will start to turn brown. And that lets us know that we're getting the dirt and the oils lifted off the tire. So when we go to put our tire dressing on it, we'll have a nice black tire. So, just the tires, not the rims. We take our long-handled brush and we get up in all the nooks and crannies so that our inner fenders look nice and shiny and black, and get all the mud and caked debris. And this will help loosen it up for when we come back through with our pressure washer again. Oh, and the first rule. Get rid of all jewelry, watches, pagers. If you have a belt buckle on, take it off, because inevitably you're going to slip or you're going to forget you have it. So all these get put away. You don't want your foam cannon to dry, which it isn't drying yet. But we're going to go back over it, blast all the soap off, blast off the wheels and the wheel wells. I like to do them first. A, they're the dirtiest, and B, my least favorite part of the car to have to wash, so just soon get it out of the road. So next we're going to wash off our foam cannon, and that'll help remove some of the, see these bug guts are nice and soft now, so they'll blast off a little better. So that's just another layer of crud that we're removing without ever having to touch the car. So if you were in a hurry and just had to go to work or something like that, you could drive off now and this thing's going to look a lot better than it did. That long soak with the Meguiar's Gold took, like I said, 80% of the bug guts off the front of my Jeep, and it's like driving a brick. So if there's anything in the road, it's going to be stuck to the front of that Jeep. But the next thing we're going to do is, and this is our first step of actually touching the vehicle. So we want to have a quality rag, or I personally like these mitts, which I'll put a link to them. They're relatively inexpensive. And there's a specific way you clean them, which I'll touch base on that right now. I like to use allergen-free Tide Pods, but they're not Tide Pods, they're all, which I'll post them here or there. I'll give you a link. And you put those in there, you throw in a cupful of vinegar, and you put it on a normal cycle. You don't want to use hot water, so warm or cool water. And that's how I do all my rags. My drying towels, my microfibers, all that will be the same process. So they go in the wash with the allergen-free, dye-free pod, and then when you dry them on very, very low heat. Your two lowest heat settings, because you don't want to damage any of the fibers, and they're synthetic fibers. So if you heat them up, then they're going to get hard and brittle, and we don't want that with paint. So get you a good mitt.
No dryer sheets.
Oh, and no dryer sheets. Good call. No dryer sheets, no chemicals, because we actually like static. With microfiber, the static helps hold on to the dust and hold on to any contaminants that get trapped within the rag. I prefer the 2-bucket method. There's varying degrees of thought on this, but by the time you get to this method, we've washed the majority of the contaminants off. One other method, people will use a different rag for each quadrant. So they'll do a rag for the front right, and then they'll do a rag for the hood, and then they'll do a rag. But that's a lot of work, and we've done a good job so far protecting our paint. So by the time we get to this, truthfully, this blue bucket is probably overkill. What I have in the red bucket is Gold Class. They like for an ounce per gallon, so it's a 3-gallon bucket, and yeah. And so I have my super foamy, super slick Gold Class car wash in this bucket, and then this 5-gallon bucket, never let these touch the ground. This 5-gallon bucket is just clean water, and then it actually has a grit guard in the bottom. So if you were to get any type of grime, which I've never had grime in this blue bucket, but if you were, the grime falls down through here. So so what we're going to do is we put our mitt in this bucket and we wring it out, and so it's nice and covered and soaked. And then we're going to wash a section of the car, and then from the car it goes directly into this clear bucket. We agitate it to wash out anything that potentially would be in it. Then we wring it out in this bucket, and then back into the clean bucket solution. And the whole purpose of that is that if there were any type of a contaminant that could scratch your paint, we wash it out in this bucket, and then so this bucket should be completely clean, contaminant-free water. So that is our next step. What I like to do is I also take the foam cannon. I've still got half a bottle of it, so I'm going to foam the side of the vehicle that I'm going to be working on. That gives me an extra layer of lubrication to where, another preventative measure to where you're not scratching the paint. So I'll foam cannon aside, and then Mel and I are going to tackle this Jeep. Another thing that I like about these mitts is I washed half the hood and half the windshield, and then you spin the mitt around and you have a totally clean surface for the other half. So it gives you a lot more surface area. There's a lot of stuff that I've learned over the years, and so I was going to script it all, but I kind of figured I'll tell you as I go. Another thing I like to do is trail over the clean paint with my other hand, because you can feel any type of bug guts. Here I missed some bug guts, and you can feel them with the other hand, so you got to go back over them and work it a little better. The other thing is try to always work in a linear fashion. So if, goodness forbid, you pick up something in your mitt, and if we're doing a swirly motion, it's a lot harder to get rid of scratches that are swirled versus if we have a nice linear motion, you're only going to see them from one direction. If you're looking at a scratch going this way from the side, it will be harder to see, and it's much easier to correct a linear scratch. So when we're washing the vehicle, try to make a point to wash it in a linear fashion and try not to scrub in circles. Oh man. Going to blast all the soap off the vehicle, give it another once over, then make sure all the high parts are all good, and then we're going to step onto the lowest parts of the vehicle down around the rocker panels and stuff, and then which I'll probably use this rag or this mitt for that, and then I'll finish the wheels off with Mel's mitt, because once you hit the rocker panels and then the lip on the inside of your wheel well, they will have the highest rate of picking up contamination. So then this one is no longer going to be used, and then Mel's, I'll use it for the rims, and we won't use that again until we wash it, because you'll pick up brake dust off of the wheels. So that's the next step. Are you serious?
My pager's not going off, so I don't know. Hand me
Don't
my
leave
phone.
it on.
Pager's off. Said hi.
Hand me my phone. Hand me my phone. And my radio.
Company 8, Newburgh, need to respond.
All right, we're back from a structure fire, and that is another reason why you wash in the shade. As you can see, the Jeep is still wet, so I don't have water spots and all that jazz to deal with. If this was out in the sun, then we would have had a mess to come back to, which luckily I had little boy, he finished hosing off the soap suds that you saw on there, but by and large, and we have a good layer of protection, so it beads water really well. So we're going to finish with the bumper and the mud flaps, and then we'll be back for the next step. And then finally, get you a good drying towel. These were actually a Walmart drying towel, and relatively inexpensive. I think they were $7 or $8 a piece. Got 2 of them, and they really hold a lot of water, and you're going to take the same care of these as we do our mitts, as we do our detailing cloths. Same exact standards in the laundry. You know, wash them together just with that stuff, and they get better with time as far as their ability to hold water. So next we're going to dry this off, and then we'll give you a walk around of the finished product. So, now that we're done, you can see just how beautiful this thing is with literally just washing it. We could probably, well, we can definitely make it even shinier with some detailer, or, which I don't need a fresh coat of wax, but if your car didn't have a good base layer on it, a coat of wax would make a world of difference. And I have a whole bunch of different products that I use. If you guys are interested, I can come back and start with a clean vehicle in this condition and then show you what I would do after the fact. So that is it for the day. Mel and I are going to finish up making sure there's no more bug guts or bat poop. We got to get it out of here because the bats love a clean vehicle. And we're going to go get some dinner. So you guys have a wonderful night. We'll catch you on the next one.